I'm Olivia. I'm from the Uni of Sheffield. I'm studying in Melbourne.
Awesome. How long have you been here for?
I have been in Melbourne since about July, and I've started uni in August, and I'm here until next August, the whole year.
That's pretty cool.
I'm studying biology, and I'm really interested in what the world can do for us and whether we've got more to learn from biology and whether I can process that into something useful.
Great. How did you come to like biology? Where did that interest come from?
I actually remember this really well. I had a teacher in school. I think most people start their love for a subject that way. He was amazing. He was a bit of a weirdo. He loved moths. That was his big thing. So he started this club for very young kids, and by the end of my time at school, he got everybody interested in moths. But he basically gave me that passion for biology, and he showed me that it could be something I could get involved in.
Tell me a little bit about the University of Sheffield. How did you end up there?
So Sheffield is a really great uni for facilitating love for biology. They have a lot of interesting projects you can get involved in. They're very focused on media, which is something I'm interested in, science communication. But they also have a really strong connection with other parts of the world, and that's how I ended up in Melbourne.
Where is Melbourne?
Good question. So Melbourne is in Australia. It's the very southern point of Australia. Yeah.
And where in Melbourne is the university? So if you're trying to describe to your family where the university is?
So Melbourne Uni is located right on the edge of the CBD. It's super easy to get to from the CBD. Get to from the CBD, and it's just in the neighbourhood of Carlton. And you can get to all the suburbs from here, so it's really well located.
Tell me a little bit about Carlton. What's Carlton like as a suburb?
Carlton is wicked. Carlton is where I live. I live just off Lygon Street, so you've got all these crazy little Italian restaurants, and you can walk down the street and they're like, do you want to come in for some pasta, pizza? And I'm like, yeah, I want pasta and pizza. And I live just off there, so I can walk to uni in like 5 minutes, so it's great.
How did you end up living there?
Super random. I ended up living in Carlton. Basically, I rocked up to uni. I didn't know where I was going to live. I was in a hostel for 2 weeks. And then some amazing girls came up to me and they said, hey, you look like you're a lot of fun. Do you want to move into our house share with us? And I've had the best time ever since. We have a great house. We have a lot of fun together. So I've been really lucky in that way. But on general, it's really easy to find accommodation in Melbourne.
Does the university help students find accommodation?
Of course. So the university has a lot of interesting schemes that you can get involved in to help you find accommodation on site and on campus, and they're quite affordable options, so you shouldn't have a problem with that one.
Awesome, that's really good, really helpful. What were you expecting from Australia?
So when I first came to Australia, I was expecting desert. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I think a lot of people in the world have the same expectation of Australia. And actually when you come here, it's nothing like that. And there's not kangaroos everywhere. There's no kangaroos on site, which is a bit upsetting, but it's fine. But you can walk around and you see countryside that looks like England actually in some areas, especially here in Melbourne. But it's really amazing. They're incredible beaches, incredible people, really, really fun place.
Have you had a chance to see kangaroos?
I have not seen a kangaroo yet, but I'm waiting for it. I've seen amazing animals. I've seen koalas, I've seen crocodiles, I've seen wombats. You know, I didn't even know what a wombat was until I got here, but now I do.
Awesome, it's good to have something left up your sleeve to go and experience. And you're here for a year too, right? So that's you've got plenty of time. That's cool. Where else have you been in Australia? Have you just studied here in Melbourne, or have you been travelling around as well?
When I first arrived in Australia, I came to Sydney and I stayed with some family. I think that's really nice to stay with family if you can, because it helps you settle into the area a little bit. And then I came to Melbourne. I've been really lucky to do a field trip with my course to Cairns, which was the most incredible week I will ever have and have had, and I recommend it to anyone.
Expectations about Melbourne. So we talked a little bit about expectations of Australia. What about Melbourne? Did you have some sort of opinion about what this place, or perception of what this place might be like?
All my friends from home have said the same thing about Melbourne. I have a lot of friends who have moved out here, and they say it's a melting pot of culture. They say it's got this crazy energy that goes all night, and you will never be bored here. And I have to admit, it's lived up to every expectation. It's an incredible city, incredible energy, and it's not matched by anywhere I've been before.
What's been the highlight of Melbourne for you?
I think the highlight of Melbourne is the nightlife, because you can study at an incredible university and get an incredible degree, and at night you're still able to discover culture on some next level. There's bars, there's cafes, they go all night. You can get hot pot at 5 AM if you want. It's incredible, and the clubs here are amazing too.
If you had some advice for somebody from home about things that they must do in Melbourne, what would you tell them?
So things you have to do while you're here in Melbourne: you need to go to the suburbs. The CBD here is amazing, you'll get everything you need, but you haven't seen Melbourne unless you've seen Fitzroy, Carlton, Brunswick. That's where you're going to have the most fun. And the beach, it's not great, but you can go there for the day if you want.
Why are those suburbs so good? What makes them special?
The suburbs here in Melbourne have a really fun energy. It's completely unique to anywhere I've seen before. You've got your avocado on toast, you've got your coffees, but you've also got amazing op shops. So op shops are a completely unique thing. They're basically second-hand stores where you can get anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. You can get the best clothes, you can get furniture, you can get that hot pot that you wanted, you can get anything you want. Yeah, it's really good.
Do Australians seem to have an obsession with avocado on toast?
In Australia, you can't walk 5 minutes, especially in Melbourne, without getting avocado on toast. It's really weird, but I love it. It's really lit.
That's awesome. All right, now let's go back to what you mentioned before, which was your class here and how you got to do that field trip up to Cairns, which is great. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to study at the University of Melbourne.
When you're studying here at Melbourne, you get a really exciting education. It's really varied. So you've got your lectures, you've got your tutorials, but you've also got outdoor labs, interactive labs. When I'm studying biology, it's really important that you are going out into nature and you're actually seeing it firsthand. And Melbourne's really good for that. So, for example, we had a trip to Brisbane Ranges where we could collect wildflowers, which was really exciting. And we also had a field trip up to the Daintree Forest Observatory where we got to actually track wild animals, which was really exciting.
How's it different to the way that courses run back home?
Your courses in Melbourne are a two-way process. So you're learning and you're looking at the content, but your lecturers will not hesitate to talk back to you and help you if you have a question, which I found is really refreshing and really useful because some of the content is quite hard. And when you're going into labs as well, you're going to be getting really exciting first-hand research experience.
That's awesome. Let's talk specifically about like the biology classes that you've done here. What's been have you had okay, you've talked about the field trip, which was like an academic highlight. Something else in the classroom that was just has really stood out to you as being, or a class. What's been your favourite? Do you remember going into one class and just being like, or walking out and just being like, that was amazing?
I have a class called Biotechnology where we do plant sciences, and it's really exciting because the lecturers there are first-hand researchers and they lecture you on what they have just learned through their research, which is so exciting because I remember coming into class one day and him telling me, hey guys, you know what I told you 3 weeks ago? Yeah, that's not true anymore because we've now discovered something new. And I think that's really exciting because it means that you know you're getting the newest content possible.
Do you get the feeling that that's kind of the case at this university in general, that it is kind of at the cutting edge?
When you're learning at this uni, it feels very linked to the research. When you are learning about the topics, there's always a source underneath, and you can look into those sources, look into those references, and you realise, oh, they're actually lecturers at the uni, which is really great because you have those sources, references on hand to answer any questions that you have.
I think that's super interesting because obviously, like, Uni of Melbourne is the most prestigious institution in the country. Did you know that before you came here? Did you know like where it ranked and how it performed?
When I came here, I wasn't aware of the ranking, and I think it's incredible to learn that, but it's not reliant on it. When you come here, you'll realise there's so much more than the academic ranking. There's actually an amazing life on campus as well that isn't even taken into account with that ranking. Tell
me about like campus life. What's campus life like at Uni of Melbourne?
I have to record videos for Bradley about life on campus, and I remember one he sent me was life, like a day in the life of a student. And I was thinking about my home uni a little bit and I was struggling because I thought there's not going to be that much to put in this, like just turn up and go home. And then I walked around campus Every day here is an exciting time. You will walk on campus and see 100 things happen at once. They have a farmer's market every Wednesday where you can get your lunch. I'm slowly making my way around all the stalls. The paella is the best. Always get the paella, it's very, very nice. And then you'll see all manner of things from dance acts to singing acts. We have an amazing ABBA impersonation who comes in, I think it's once a semester, and it was the most exciting lunchtime I will ever have. And you get lots of people coming around campus, and even political protests is a really big thing on campus, so it's really great.
What's it been like studying with Australians? What are Australians like in the classroom?
When you're studying with Australians, they are going to help you out no matter what, which is really nice. We've got group chats on Facebook to help you out if you've got any questions, and someone will come back to you in 2 seconds if you do. They're a laugh, okay? Australians are not too serious. They'll never take themselves too seriously. So yeah, don't expect to get a straight answer straight away, but they'll get to you eventually. They're really, really fun.
So a lot of culture and a lot of stuff going on. Have you been involved in any of clubs or societies, anything like that?
I'm really involved in one society called Flair Dance. They are an amazing society that have really great funding, which means you can pay $10 membership at the beginning of term and you get all your classes included for the whole year for free. It's incredible, and you can get all styles from urban, contemporary, ballet, whatever you want to do, and they have a big production every year. I think society is really important because you can meet a bubble of people and a circle of people to be friends with, so it's really, really nice.
What other sorts of societies are on campus here? Is there a lot of choice?
There's so much choice on campus of societies. You've got everything from volleyball to hockey, your normal stuff, to things a bit more strange like mountaineering, where you can go every week on a new different trip around mountains around here. They also have surf riders, which is a really big society where you do 5% surfing, 95% drinking, but it's really fun. It's really fun.
What's the most interesting thing about the university?
The most interesting thing about this uni is you're going to get a big mix of culture. So you can come here and you can learn about true Aboriginal culture, but you can also learn about culture that's come to Australia as well. So there's a massive Asian influence here. That means great food, great music, great people, and there's a lot of European influence as well. So you're going to get a mix of everything here, which means that you end up with this crazy network of people that you know from all the way around the world. It's really great.
Tell me, what's been your best adventure since you've been in Australia?
The #1 way to do an adventure here in Australia is to go and hire yourself a camper van and get out the city. There are so many places that's about a 2-hour drive from Melbourne. You can get yourself to Great Ocean Road, you can get yourself to the Grampians, you can get yourself to Wilson's Promontory, and you're going to have a great time. All you need is maybe a tent and some really good friends, and you're going to have a really great weekend.
Have you done stuff like that?
We have been on multiple road trips. I think the best one was Wilson's Promontory, because you are in complete wilderness with stunning beaches, stunning wildlife, and you get to enjoy it with the friends that you've made here, which are also hopefully going to be great too.
That's really awesome. What have you learned about yourself?
I think when you go on an exchange, you expect to maybe pick up that culture or learn stuff about that culture, and you absolutely do. But one side of it is you're going to learn a lot more about yourself, and you're going to become a lot more sure about your own identity. Because you're meeting so many people every day, you start learning a lot more about your own culture. So I think that's something I've picked up a lot since being at Melbourne. I realised how maybe introverted English people are and how much more chill we possibly could be. And I think you start to realise that maybe your way of thinking is not the only way of thinking. And I might sound a bit naive saying that, but I don't mind saying that because I think that is common in a lot of exchange students, and that's something you're going to get from exchange. You're going to become a lot more world aware and a lot more in touch with maybe other ways of thinking.
Has it changed you?
I think exchange has changed me for the better. I think I have realised now that I've got a lot more adventure to do. I think a lot of people think you're going to do it and that's it, done, but no, you're going to catch the travel bug and you're going to want to do a lot more. Yeah.
What's next on the list then?
Next on my travel list, it's getting longer. I would really like to go to New Zealand. You're super close here from Australia. You can just get a quick flight over, and hopefully I'm going to do that in the next few months.
What have you learned about the world? So I've learned a bit about yourself. but what about just the world in general? Or life in general?
Yeah.
Is that a big question?
It's a very big question.
Very big question.
I think in Western society, we do have a massive focus on our own way of thinking. And obviously being a Commonwealth place, there is an extension of that here. But you do get to see edges of other cultures as well. Like there's a massive Asian influence here, and it's made me realise how much I have to see and have to explore. I've never even considered really Asia as somewhere that I'd like to move and spend time in, but it's becoming a massive part of our world, and it's something that I've ignored up till now. So I really think that Melbourne has brought me closer to that. It's given me a massive connection that I didn't have before.
What other things are you interested in? What other things do you like to do outside of uni?
Since I've come to Melbourne, I've got really involved in surfing, and you need to too if you do. Even if you're not a pro surfer chick, give it a go, because it is really, really fun, and you're going to meet some great people doing it.
That's pretty cool. What other things do you like in general though? Like just what are things that you enjoy doing?
I really am into my op shopping and vintage shopping, which is a really big part of culture here in Melbourne. You can pick up a wicked outfit and walk out with a fur coat and under $20, so it's perfect. And if you do get the chance to go around Brunswick, you should visit all the shops down there. It's really good.
Other things that you like. What else are you into? You talked about going out. Anything else that you really love to do? To read, to go to movies, to drink coffee, to...
Yeah.
Just hit me up.
So me and my housemates are really big foodies, and we like to go all around Melbourne and sample all the dishes here. But you're going to have a very long time doing it because there is a multitude of places you can eat. I would recommend anywhere around CBD if you like sushi, very, very cheap. And you can also go in the suburbs and pick up your avo on toast.
That's sensational. Let's talk about, you've talked a little bit about advice for people coming to Australia, to Melbourne. You talk about nightlife and the suburbs. What about the uni? Like if you're about to talk to a friend from back home who's going to come down here and study, what like secret tips would you give them about being a student here? Like we just did one this morning, which was the best coffee on campus is House of Cards. Is that right? House of Cards? Yeah.
Yeah. Top tips for being a student here. You need to be able to talk to locals because they've got everything you need. They've got your cars, they've got the tips about the city. Make friends with locals. Okay. Number 2, you need to get involved in the society because that's going to get you a new bubble of friends, and you might pick up a new hobby as well.
What about places on campus? Places on campus that people have to go and check out. We're here on the South Lawn, you've got people chilling. What are the other places people need to see? Or what place?
Number 3, you need to go to Rowan Library. Not many people know about it. It's very secret. It's second floor of a union house, and they've got bean bags you can have a nap on, and gaming. So when you get bored of studies, just go and have a nap. It's fine. I love Roadhouse. It's so good.
That's awesome.
When you're at Melbourne Uni, you're going to have a couple of hard times. Not everything's going to be easy, and you're going to miss home a little bit. Melbourne Uni has a lot of support for you there. You need to wait 2 minutes and you can go straight to stop 1. That is your number 1 stop for everything you're having problems with, whether it be homesickness, whether it be a problem with your course, whether it be a problem with where you're living. They can help you no matter what. And having 1 stop for all of that is super useful.
That's really cool. That sounds pretty unique in Australian unis.
It's a really good tactic. It's a really good way to get people connected to things quickly because there's nothing worse than sitting there online and thinking, I don't know where to go for help.
Why should people choose to study here? Why should people choose to study here?
There's nowhere else in the world where you can study tropical biology in the context of such an amazing cultural place where you're going to get such an exciting energy.
So tell me about how unique it is to study here, like how rare this is as an opportunity.
Okay. When you're studying for a year abroad, Melbourne is an amazing option, but unfortunately it is very rare. I got one of the only 2 spots from my home uni, and I don't know many people who have come here either. So if you do get the chance, you need to come here.
That's perfect. Why did you decide to choose Melbourne?
My home lecturer, who's also my tutor, he wrote his very first paper here at Melbourne Uni, and he told me all about how he said he was trapped in a room for a few days writing the paper, but he said that it was an incredible place to be, an incredible energy for research, and he told me that this is the place I needed to be.
Does it feel like you're part of something here?
You're going to reach a point in your semester where you can walk down the path at uni, come onto the South Lawn at lunch, and you're going to see someone you know, whether that be someone from your class or a society, And that is super nice. It makes you feel like you're connected to the uni and that you've got a little family here looking out for you.